Well, hello everybody, I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here and we're back with another video. We're back with something a little bit different when it comes to obviously the transfer news surrounding Leeds United, but everybody, we've got the press conference reaction as well. Absolutely critical, big news today. Stay with me and we'll get through it. So everybody, let's get started, shall we? So the press conference is coming up, but to start off with, everyone, I wanted to talk about a little bit of transfer news to kick it off. Now, according to Team Talk, Leeds are now linked, as we know, with Lewis O'Brien. Now, why do I say as we know? Well, because this has been happening, everybody, since the boy was 22 years of age. Do you know he's now only 26? Can you believe that? Lewis O'Brien. I've said he was pushing 30, but listen, I've always really liked him. Really good ball recovery-wise in the attacking third. I always thought for Carlos Corberán's side, where he played over 50 games, I thought he was very, very good going forward. I thought the pressy side of his game was excellent. I've always called for it, to be honest. I've mentioned O'Brien for Leeds for about 2 seasons now, whether or not it's rotation-wise when we were in the Premier League, or whether or not it's obviously when we're in the Championship and potentially starter. So with Joshua Gruev being in the side, obviously what we need to consider is the fact he is 34 years of age. He's a welcome addition. And as Daniel Farke was saying, off the pitch, he's been as important as he is on the pitch when he's been playing in training, etc., etc. The beautiful thing about Josh is he brings European experience, Champions League experience, and a vast experience at Wolfsburg, of which he's played with Kevin De Bruyne, Olic, etc. Very, very important. But Lewis O'Brien is going to be available consistently. Now, big news, everybody. Loan deal at DC United is stopped. He'll be coming back on the 31st of December 2024. Leeds are going into the January window. We could do a lot worse, everybody, especially with the dates for Gruev and Ethan Ampadu not being any closer. Lewis O'Brien, could that be one that we go for, everybody? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, as well, everybody, unfortunately, it's injuries again, isn't it, when it comes to Leeds United? Now, let's stay on the positive. Max Verber coming back into contention. Aside from a bit of a dodgy match against Middlesbrough, I've always been relatively positive about Max, aside from his antics last season and in the Premier League. But recently, I've been quite positive about him. I'm excited by the fact that he's going to be a Championship player. Do I think he's good enough? I definitely do. I don't think a game against Middlesbrough, aside from what potential ability he could bring to his Leeds United side, is something that we should judge him on fully. I think you've got to give him a bit of time. You've got to give him a bit of momentum in this Leeds side, and he might be getting into that at some stage. Daniel Farke has mentioned today that he's going to be available before the November break, which is really big. He's not going to be available this weekend, but could he be a bench option? I don't know. I don't know how far on the injury is, but is he going to be starting for Leeds United? It doesn't look like he is going to be starting this weekend, but it is big news him being back, especially with the likes of Joe Rodon on 4 yellow cards and Leeds relying, of course, on a Joshua Gruev. However, do you want to put all your apples in one basket? I'm not sure you do. So that's good news at least. Now, everybody, Joe Gelhardt out. Now, I feel like this is quite significant when it comes to Gelhardt. Why? A lot of you will ask, like, Connor, it doesn't mean anything. I just feel like right now with Joffy, he's got even further down. Like, how does that happen when you're in the Championship? How does that happen when years have gone by and you've gained more experience? You know, over that period of time, you should have gained more minutes and you should have gained more goals and assists. But since his time in the under-21s with Sam Greenwood, he's really struggled to break through that sort of ceiling of the 21s and first team football whilst being successful. I think he obviously had the period where he was coming on in the games for Jesse Marsh, obviously the famous Norwich goal. But aside from that, he's really, really, really struggled. So for me, it signifies almost like the ending of Joe Gelhardt's career at Leeds United. I would be looking to move him on permanently in January. It's a massive shame for the Whites. It's a massive shame for Joffy, because for £1 million from Wigan, we probably thought to ourselves, wow, what a player we're getting here, especially with him being compared to Wayne Rooney. Just doesn't ever feel his career is going to get off the mark. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Injured again. Yes, everybody, unfortunately, that's injured again. Now, I say unfortunately in a slightly sarcastic manner. Look, I don't think he's good enough for Leeds United. You guys all know that. He's available for selection. He has been available for selection. He came on for 6 minutes, 6 grand minutes against Bristol City, of which it didn't really make sense. He spent the whole time playing out wide. It was very odd. But overall, it's another injury for Patrick Bamford, of which this isn't really becoming funny anymore. It's £2 million a year, 40 grand a week. And I know from an sympathetic side, Pat Bamford can't avoid these injuries. It is a part of life. It's a part of playing football. And I'm sure if anybody could alleviate these injuries and get on with his football career, it would be Patrick of Bamfordshire. But this isn't happening in his career. And we spoke last December about his stock rising potentially and selling him on in January. People didn't like that comment because he was like the one in behind Joel Peru at that point. But guys, look, I think Farke even playing him, and I'm giving Farke the benefit of the doubt here. The reason he's doing that is putting him in the shop window. We have to get rid of this guy. He can't still be on Leeds' books in, what is it going to be, 2026 when he's 33 years of age. We have to get rid of him beforehand. And if that's even Leeds potentially contributing to his wage structure and maybe a termination there, I don't know. Is that going to be too expensive, especially with the money that he's on? Probably. So what we're looking at is a club coming in for him. We knew Southampton were maybe going to do that, but maybe it's going to be a situation where an emergency team comes in who desperately need a striker, who are able to take Patrick Bamford, even if it is just a 6-month loan deal, taking 78% of his wages. That'll help Leeds out a little bit, but just getting him in that shop window. This guy, it's just going to be a charity case for me for the next 2 years. What is the point? And on to more bits on the press conference as well. Dan James, which is the big one, the real big one. Now we're going to get onto my team going into the game against Plymouth Argyle, but unfortunately it looks like he's going to be out for this one. I did say in the previous video, we kind of need Dan James to be fit now with what we saw from Manor Solomon. That is just how it is. If Manor Solomon comes in and he plays, I've had a bit of criticism over the past however many days that apparently I won't give players a chance who I don't deem good enough. Now, I will rebuttal that with if Dan James came in last season when I didn't think he would have been, up to much long term and proved me wrong, as did Aaronson and Firpo, I'm happy to be a big boy and put my hands up. I really am. So I do dispute that a little bit. But what I will say as well when it comes to Manor Solomon is if he comes in, there's no doubt in his technical ability. But I do question how explosive he is. I do question those attributes that we need for a winger, which is taking on your man, being agile, having that sort of trickery to do your man. I've not seen a lot of that, and I know we've not seen a lot of him play, but when we have seen him play, which we have, what have we seen so far? We need to see a lot more from a man who's claiming 60 grand a week from the club and is the marquee signing. So if Manor Solomon comes in, takes the game by the scruff of the neck, wins Leeds the game and has a great performance, and that's not all the standards, by the way, but if he has a good game, I'm literally going to be supporting him. I'm going to be very, very happy, but he's going to have to step up now because James is going to be out again, of which James only missed 6 games last season. He's now already missed 6 this season amongst the ones that he's probably going to miss now, or the one. It is a reoccurring hamstring injury, which is a slight worry, sort of looking at 2 to 4 weeks minimum there. So Leeds are really in the doldrums now when it's coming to these injuries. It's not a game out, it doesn't feel. It always feels like it's muscular, long-term muscular injuries. So it's a bit of a difficult one, this one, but it looks like now we're going to have to seriously rely on Manor Solomon for this. It's not a bad option, of course it's not, but it's one where he needs to really start proving his worth because Dan James had a longer injury out, and for me, Dan James has done more than Manor Solomon when Dan James has been readily available. Right, guys, so my team for this one is going to be Sam Byram at right back, Elan Mele in net, of course, Rodon and Pascal. Rodon needs to be very careful in this one, 4 yellow cards, and we can't do with any more out, Joe, so no more stupid tackles and dissent and all this sort of stuff. That would be helpful. The return of Junior Firpo, which I'm very, very happy with, and I think it's going to really aid Manor Solomon. But yeah, I'm going to go with Al Tanaka, Joe Rothwell, and then out wide, I'm going to go with, of course, William Yonto on that right. I'm going to go with Joel Peru Solomon, although even in pre-season, I'm very tempted by Brendan Aaronson. Aaronson was playing off that left in pre-season. There is an option there. Bear that one in mind. And I'm going to go with Matteo Joseph up top. I think the combination of Peru and Joseph is there to see. I think they benefit from each other's minutes. And I do think Aaronson needs a little bit of a rest out of this one. And I want to see more goals. I want to see more production. I think against the Plymouth side, who have really struggled away from home, I think Peru and Joseph starting together would really aid that. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Have I been too harsh? What would your lineup be? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you're checking out IPM Group UK, as always, the sponsor, CCTV, surveillance and security needs. Keep it in the Leeds United community. A brand new football prize is gonna be out, guys. Link in the description below. Get involved. I say this all the time, but these guys have some of the best prizes I've seen. I've got involved with a couple myself. I haven't won, but I've got involved. It is well worth getting involved, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, everyone. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in a bit.